Alright guys, finally got the crossover tube. We got the bung welded on. We're a little close to the power steering bolt there. I think we can make it work. If not, worst case scenario, I can get like a Allen key bolt in that spot and shave down the head or something. I think it's good though. Still have to clearance this for the hose, but got that situated, and then we got the bung welded on the rad. It was a little guy for the tube coming from the coolant reservoir. So we have the gaskets. They're at the post office, so they wouldn't deliver to my house for whatever reason. So we gotta grab those. We gotta redo this harness, knock sensor harness connector, and then put new O-rings under here for this coolant pipe, bolt this down, make the hose, and put the manifold back on. Then we gotta fill her up and test her all out. Alright guys, we just pop the rad in real quick. As you can see, we got plenty of room for some hose. Just gotta trim that bracket like I said, but we actually got plenty of room by that bolt, so that's no issue. This is pretty much snugged up. Just needs a little turn to fully seat it, but I think this will work out really nice and should allow us to remove this upper hose somewhat easily. The hose should have some flex, and we can just unscrew it and pull it out this way, or wherever it needs to. Probably just lift it up even, but I'm happy with that. Probably mess with that tomorrow maybe. We just gotta mount the bolts up in the brackets here, measure this length of this hose. Should be basically almost everything I have here. Basically just cut this frayed section off, but we got like exactly enough. We'll build that hose up, and then once the manifold gets back on and we mount this somewhere around this area, we'll build the hose for that, which will go to that fitting there. Should be pretty good. Alright guys, so we accidentally ripped the wire out of the connector on the Impreza on the WRX engine. So I have this motor here from a customer I've been holding on to. It has a dead cylinder number 1. Never tore it apart to find out what the deal was, but conveniently I have the same exact knock sensor plug as this engine. So we're gonna cut this off and splice it into the Brat harness. Just like that. Alright guys, I got the crappy wire loom off of here. This, as you can see, is the same connector that I had. I don't know why my camera won't focus. There we go. They have some kind of factory crimp going on here, so I'm gonna put some heat shrink over that, and then we're gonna do a butt splice with some heat shrink. And we're not going to reuse this loom. I have this new stuff that I found. Eventually we'll redo the whole harness, but since we're already doing this piece, we'll use it here. It's really nice stuff, and I think it's going to look really good, and I think it's going to hold up a lot better than this. So I'm going to strip the end on the harness on the car, butt splice it, heat shrink it, and show you guys how it looks when it's all done. Alright guys, we got it all spliced back together. This is the stuff I was talking about. It's like a braided loom. I bought fully enclosed style, so you have to slip it on beforehand like heat shrink. But they do sell a loom style with a split open end. So eventually I'm going to redo the entire harness with this stuff. They come in different sizes. Could have gotten a smaller size for like this single wire. What I did here, I cut it a little short because I had to cut it a little short to do the splice, or else I wouldn't have been able to do it. But I bunched it up, and then what I did was I stretched it back out and taped it here. I would have liked it to be a little longer, but can't do anything about it really. but I really like the way this stuff looks. It's funny because Subaru actually uses this on like hoses near hot stuff or that gets bent, and it's just funny that they cheap out and don't use nicer stuff for the loom. I hate this plastic loom. So eventually the whole harness is going to look like this. It's going to be nice and neat. I'm not even going to use E-tape. I'm either going to use the cloth tape that the German car uses, or I'm going to use this, it's called self-vulcanizing tape from DEI, and it doesn't even stick to, like, it sticks to itself, but it doesn't get that sticky residue on it, which is really nice. So you can pull it apart and reuse it as many times as you need to. That's actually what this is right here. And as you can see, it just comes right apart, and there's no residue here. It's just, it all feels the same. So this stuff's really nice, but it's really expensive, and maybe it's not reusable. Oh, it's sticking. I think it's meant to be one-time use though, actually, because yeah, it ain't sticking. It's all good. Alright, now that that is settled, we have to pop the new O-rings for this coolant crossover, and then we can bolt that down. We can cut this hose for the upper hose, and then, like I said, we're just waiting on the gasket. I gotta stop there tomorrow after work. Post office is closed on Tuesday, on Sunday, unfortunately. guys, got the upper hose done finally. Looking pretty good. Had to trim it a few times because I didn't want to cut it too short. I kept going back and trimming it more. I'm happy though. I say that, and I ended up trimming it too short the last time. Not too short, but so it's actually gonna pull the body to the rat a little bit. But I'm happy with it. We got them both tightened up. They both look decent. That one is close to the timing cover, as we know, but we'll pull it. When we pull it apart, we'll grind down the one side. We'll marker and grind it down, and then all the fittings will get painted. The water pump housing will get painted, and this jacket will get painted. Everything will get painted. I put the manifold back in place. Did a new vacuum line from down there that would normally go to the brake booster, I believe. So I don't know why I put the T back in. Should have done one straight hose. Either way. And then we got to run the line to where the PCV was, up to the AOS. Get this out of here. I'm a dummy, and then it put the inlet on, so this manifold has to come back off. Great. Unless we can sneak it in there, but I don't think it's possible. But gotta do that. Hopefully we can just maybe pull this side up enough. I don't know. But we'll deal with that tomorrow, because I'm kind of upset now that I forgot that. Alright guys, that looks a little better now. Got the inlet in there. I used some nice T-bolt clamps that I had laying around from an old intercooler kit. Got those on there. I just torqued down the manifold. We're gonna put the reservoir back up. I had to trim this hose on both ends just to make it fit nice. We'll make the AN line going to here. We'll make the AN line going to there. Put the alternator on, put the belt on. I have to run the battery cables back over to here how it originally was, just because I never bought that one wire, the hot wire to extend to the fuse box, and for now we'll just keep it here. Gotta do that. Plug off any vacuum lines. I want to change the oil in this before I start it again, because this is like 3-year-old oil. And then obviously fill it up with some water / coolant. And finish up the AOS fittings. I think that's pretty much it. Put the intercooler on. Alright guys, it's the next day actually. I made this line and my stupid self wasn't accounting for the intake, so when I went to put the intake on, kind of had to stretch it. I'll probably remake this line and make it longer and have this one come straight down and have a nice smooth bend so this line isn't being stressed out. This intake barely even fits in there with the new inlet. It's like crammed in there. I already plan on getting a new intake, but that's annoying. I did this line here, came out good. I'm happy with that one. Did all the fitting, or all the lines for the valve cover and PCV breathers. Tried to start it yesterday and we were having minimal luck. It was always hard to start, but once it got going, it kind of cleared up. I never changed the plugs in this motor since I bought the parts car, which was pretty stupid on my part. I pulled the plugs. Well, it was in the beginning. It was flip-flopping, just barely starting and then shutting off. It wouldn't run for more than like 5 seconds. We kept trying different things, and then we kind of figured that maybe the spark plugs were no good, because Bert was saying that it's kind of a sign that it'll clear up once it warms up, because all the just whatever, I don't know, I don't have an explanation, but Bert said that's how it is. If you have a bad plug, it'll run rough at startup, but get better as it warms up. So this is one of the plugs that came out. I don't know if we can focus on that or not. But it ain't the best, but it ain't the worst. One of the other ones I pulled out was actually a lot worse. But either way, we threw some new plugs in there. I had these laying around. I actually bought them for my 2.5 RS non-turbo Impreza. And they're actually the same part number as what calls for this car, which I thought was pretty weird. They already had, they were BK, they're NGKs, BKR, oh Jesus, BKR 6E, IX is Iridium. These ones are BKR 6E GP, just G power, I guess. I think they're like they're platinum or double platinum, I forget. I think single platinum. So that brings us to the ordeal here. I can do both these side spark plugs, no problem. They're already in there. I can do this front side cylinder number 2 spark plug. Oh Jesus, I'm dumping fuel everywhere. All right. I can do the number 2 spark plug somewhat easily. It's already in there. Number 4, literally impossible. I already knew this was going to be the case, but I confirmed it yesterday. Tried to take it out, and it ain't happening. There's absolutely no room between the frame rail to wiggle the coil pack out. So what I'm going to attempt to do right now is loosen this motor mount and lift this side of the engine up and hopefully gain enough room to do this coil pack. So yeah, we're gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna put, if that's successful, I'm gonna put the last plug in, put it back together. I'm gonna dump some fresh 93. Another thing that we kind of realized was, I think by the time we realized the plugs were bad, we had flooded it, because originally we thought it was a fuel problem. I kept priming the pump 2 or 3 times before cranking, and then when I went to pull that one plug, it was just completely soaked. So that's why the fuel line was disconnected, because I killed the fuel pump relay. I pumped the excess into that bottle, and then I left it unconnected, just cranking it, hoping the plugs would kind of dry up. The plugs firing would kind of dry up the fuel, but that didn't exactly work either. So the plan is, oh, one other thing, this little nipple in the fitting, that nipple right there, normally that is just how the fitting is, kind of like that one, but not exactly. Either way, they have these little nipples in there. My buddy asked me if he should weld it, and I told him no, don't worry about it, because normally it's not welded when you assemble the fitting, so what difference would it make? Well, apparently it does make a difference, because it's dripping out of there just ever so slightly. So he said to try to hit it with a punch and knock it in to seat it. There ain't really much room to try to do that, but I'm gonna give it a shot. But I'm pretty sure that's gonna have to get tacked solid. So that's another issue. Alright, well, either way, we're gonna do this plug, and then I'm gonna go get some fresh 93, because this gas in here smells a little bad, a little questionable. And then we're gonna give this a shot again. I'm gonna pull probably that number 2 or number 3 cylinder and just see if the plugs are still wet or not. If that one is, I'll probably pull the number 2 as well and let them all dry out. But that is the plan. I'll probably end this video here, because who knows if this will work or not. And I think it's a pretty long video already. If I do manage to get it started, I'll obviously take a video. But I'll probably start fresh on a new video, taking this motor mount and doing the spark plug and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions of what to look for, I've checked grounds. I have a good body, obviously I have a good body ground. The ground is also grounded to the starter. Crank's fine. Crank position sensor, everything's hooked up. All I did was pull the manifold off, and honestly, like, cap off all the vacuum leaks. So I don't know if before it was used to having so much extra air coming in. I don't know, but we're gonna see what we can do before I get too discouraged and give up again. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, let me know.